My name is Nikki Gallagher, and I am Head of Public Affairs at IBEC. Up to quite recently, I was also chairperson of Belong To, the LGBT youth organisation in Ireland. And I hope I'm still quite a good ally, and I certainly do try to be. So thank you so much for the invitation to be here this morning and to speak here this morning. IBEC is really proud to be associated with Cork Pride, and in particular this event, because we believe that diversity, inclusion, equality are everybody's business. So let me start by telling you a little bit about us, about IBEC. We are a member organisation, as many of you know. About 70% of all those people employed in the private sector are members of IBEC companies, or are employees of IBEC companies. But we also have lots of members who are public sector, charities, NGOs, civil society. So we really do have a very broad, I suppose, lens right across business and the Irish economy. In addition to being a member organisation, we're also an employer. And D&I really matters for us and for our staff. We employ about 200 people, and this is an issue that comes up all of the time, that they want us to be very publicly associated and very publicly talking about our values and why diversity and inclusion really matters across a whole broad range of issues. We also run a diversity and inclusion forum within IBEC, and that's really a group where members get together and they raise issues that really matter to them. And as a consequence of those issues that are raised directly with us, we lobby and we try to influence public policy in areas such as the LGBTI strategy, in areas such as disability. We work with Open Doors, we work with the Irish Human Rights and Equality Commission around immigration and protection of people coming to this island. So we have a very broad remit. And we listen to our members, and we listen to, and I'm sure many of you in this room are members or work for members. So, think about that diversity and inclusion forum, and come and get involved if you wish to do so through your own organisations. When I joined IBEC about 3 months ago, so this is my first IBEC speaking engagement. I hope it's not my last. When I joined IBEC about 3.5 months ago, I was really impressed and really proud, because one of the very first things we did publicly was publish a guide to support employers who had employees who were transitioning. And that came from our members. That came from members asking us questions and wanting to know how best to support their employees, because most of them told us they were really supportive in theory, but they just didn't know how to do so practically. So we published that guide, which really sets out very practical things about how you support trans employees. And as you can imagine, on social media, there were some very positive levels of engagement, and then, as you would expect, some not quite so much. But it didn't matter, because as far as we were concerned, we were doing the right thing. We were meeting a need for people who wanted to be open and inclusive. And it was also us showing a little bit of leadership, because again, that's really important for us, that we and all businesses and our members are part of this social fabric of Ireland, including the trans and LGBTI part of this country. So Ireland, as many of you know, is a location of choice for business, to start a business and to come and invest in this country. And a lot of that is to do with the fact that we have made a huge amount of progress through the years. So we have gender recognition, we have marriage equality, we have reproductive health care rights. We even have children's rights in the Constitution, which I was involved with many career paths ago. But I suppose we have all of these fantastic things going on. But we also know that, unfortunately, it's, that we still are facing a lot of issues. Both the Taoiseach and Tánaiste alluded to many of them. LGBT people facing violence on the streets. We're seeing racism. We are seeing the trans debate, where people think it's up for grabs whether or not somebody's existence is tolerated or not in a public space. And we can't, and we saw what's happening in the UK, we see what's happening in the US. We can't allow any of this to slip. We have to make sure that we are vocal, we stand up, we speak up, and we call out issues. But also we really focus on the positive and the really important changes and social progress that we have made. D&I, as most of you know, I'm sure you know, this is a hard room to talk to in some ways, because I'm talking to you about the stuff that's all ingrained. But D&I is not only the right thing to do, But economically, it's the sensible thing to do. We know from countless studies that D&I has a very positive benefit. The more diverse your workforce, your board, your senior leadership team are, the better the decisions you make, the better the outcomes you have, the more you reflect and understand your customer base. And that's really important. But diversity on its own is no good. We have to make sure that inclusion is really, and equality, are really kind of key components to our strategies within our workplaces. So it's making sure that everybody has the right to turn up exactly as they are, and be their authentic selves at work, to be supported, have their voices heard, to make sure that they're given equality of opportunity for promotion, I suppose recruitment in the first instance, but promotion and progression within every organization. Because it's only when we take the diversity, inclusion and agenda and actually really ingrain it into how we think. So it's not something we do, it's just how we behave, because that's actually who we are. And as a country, I believe that's who we are. So I'd like to thank you very much for the opportunity to meet you again, and I hope you have a very happy Pride. Thank you.